y'all. Welcome back to another episode of the Watch Us Thrive podcast. This is your girl, Leanne, and I am super excited to introduce you guys to this week's guest. I have Shawnti Refuge, and I'm super excited to introduce her to you guys. I'm going to let her talk about who she is, but Shawnti, I just want to say thank you so much for being here today. I'm super excited to meet you.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it so much. My name is Shawnti Refuge. Yes, that is my real last name. It's legal. I am in Houston, Texas. I am a certified mental health coach, mental health advocate, keynote speaker, and author. And I help women to release, heal, and live their best lives with guided journaling.
And I love the last part because I think that's something that we hear about a lot in the whole personal development world. Journaling being something that can really change your life if you utilize it in a way to do that. And you've been able to create an entire business around this. I saw your website and girl, you got journals on top of journals on top of journals. And I just want to know, before we talk about the woman that you are today, share with my audience a little bit of what life looked like for you prior to you even beginning your own healing journey, and what are some of the things that you experienced in your past?
Well, first of all, like many other people, didn't think anything was wrong with me. I'm thinking, okay, well, I guess I'm just gonna be an asshole. I guess I took after my dad, just being a certain way. I grew up in single parent home sometimes, and then my mom got married again or had a boyfriend over or whatever. It didn't affect me like that. But I did grow up watching her in one of her marriages be domestically abused. So the person never did anything to me or my sister, but me and my sister, my little sister, found ourselves having to break up the fights, and we were kids. So I grew up with that. I was a teen mom. I had my first child when I was 14.
Oh,
And
wow.
yeah. And of course, I knew nothing about sex. I did not know, first of all, that I wasn't supposed to be doing it because, growing up in a household where my mom was just like, don't do it. Well, what is it you want me to do? I'm gonna go see. And so I found out. But I did finish school. I graduated with a 3-year-old on my hip. After that, I was one of those people that always said, I'm never having kids, I'm never getting married, I'm never, because I didn't grow up seeing anything healthy. And my ideal family was the Huxtables. And if I couldn't have that family, then I didn't want to have a family. Of course, that was not reality because. So in 2018, I woke up one Sunday morning like regular, but that Sunday morning I woke up, I didn't feel good. And when I say I didn't feel good, it was something like a funk. And I thought it was just a funk. So I said, okay, it's a funk. My period must be coming. It did not go away. So the feelings that I had, I was angry, mad, cursing more than normal, crying, withdrawn, sad. I was just having this cycle of negative emotions and I could not control it. Every day it got worse. So compounding emotion on top of emotion. And it's like, I wish I had a switch I could turn it off, and I could not turn it off. So after about a month of that, I guess I waited a whole month. I said, okay, something not right. Let me go to the doctor. And I didn't know who to go to. So I went to my family practice doctor. And I told her, hey, I can't control my emotions. Something going on. And I'm thinking I'm going through menopause or something, but I'm too young for that. She said, oh, no, you're just a little depressed. Let me give you some antidepressants. And I'm like, I don't want that. I want to know why I'm doing this. She said, no, just go ahead and take them. I trusted her, that's my family practice. She's been my doctor forever. So me in my mind, she's not going to tell me anything wrong. So she gave them to me. They did not work. I came back 6 weeks later and I'm like, hey, this shit ain't working. And she was like, oh, let me send you to a psychiatrist. I'm not saying nothing's wrong with you, but I need you to see a psychiatrist. Black people don't see psychiatrists at all. And that's this mindset I had. I grew up in an environment where it's like, don't you tell nobody your business. What goes on in the house stays in the house. And we're supposed to just suck it up and keep pushing. You'll work past it. Just keep quiet about it.
And if you're going through something, then you just talk to God about it. You just pray it away.
Yeah. But I went to a psychiatrist, and the reason why I went is because I felt that I was going to become physically aggressive. So I had to make a decision. Okay, it's all right, you're cussing people out, but you can't put your hands on nobody and expect not to have consequences. So, all right, I'm going to go to the psychiatrist. I went to the psychiatrist. It took a month for me to see a psychiatrist. So in that time, keep in mind, I'm still wilding out. But I finally had my appointment and told her what was going on, and she wanted to give me more antidepressants. And I told her, I don't want this because all I pictured was me being an old lady with a bottle of wine and pills in my hand. That's a forever
Yeah.
thing. And I did not want that. I said, I don't want to be one of these pill popping ladies. So she said, okay, I need you to talk to a therapist. If Black people don't see psychiatrists, they damn sure don't see a therapist.
Talk about feelings. We don't do that.
No, no. You're supposed to say your tears for the pillow and keep it moving. But I could not. So it took me 3 therapists to find my therapist. The first one, no. The second one, she ghosted me after the first visit. So after I just
Damn.
filled my guts and said, hey, this is going on, she ghosted me. So the third therapist, I gave her hell from jump. I said, look, you number 3. If you don't work, then I guess I'm going to jail. I was just talking all kind of shit. But she just looked at me and she was like, I'm going to help you. You're going to be okay. So she diagnosed me with severe anxiety and depression, which is why I had the nervous breakdown, which is a nervous breakdown is you losing control of your emotions. Like whatever's coming, that's what it is. And you can't stop it until it's ready to stop. I did not like that. Not having control over this is me and my brain. It was just weird. So my therapist worked with me. She introduced me to guided journaling. At first, she wanted me to journal, and I'm like, I'm not journaling. That's white people shit. And she was like, No, that's a diary you're talking about. That's just how I talk, girl.
No, it's fine. It's fine.
She said, No, journaling is this, and she explained what journaling was. And then she explained to me what guided journaling was. And so guided journaling is basically you are answering specific prompts pertaining to whatever it is you want to work on. That worked for me because free writing in the journal, that just made me even more mad than I already was. It's like, why am I writing this all over again? I didn't have to say it. Now I'm having to write it. Da, da, da. And it didn't make sense to me. But guided journaling, her giving me prompts to answer, that helped me. And when I first started, I was journaling every day to prompts for like 2 weeks. I started feeling better. And I couldn't believe I was feeling better. I'm like, not me just answering some questions. What does this have to do with this? But it allowed me to express myself in ways that I didn't think I could. Because when you have a thought in your brain, you could say it all you want, but when you write it, it's something totally different. So that helped me. And after about a year of that, me doing that and going through my healing process, I learned that I had issues from childhood, of course, child abuse, being a teen mom. I didn't think that was traumatic. That was like common from where I'm from. So I didn't think anything was wrong with it. Yes, it's traumatic. And having multiple relationships, watching my mom be abused physically, and just it led me to make a bunch of bad decisions, a lot of bad decisions. And I felt like, okay, maybe this is my karma or something. But no, that's not what it was. It was me needing to talk about all these things because I never ever talked about it. I always had this mentality of like, I don't care, whatever, I'll forget about it. No, you don't forget about it. You can ignore it all day long, but when it comes out, it's gonna come out at the wrong place at the wrong time.
Absolutely. I mean, it could cause like a nervous breakdown like what you experienced, right? Thank you so much for sharing that. I think it's so powerful when we're able to hear other people's testimonies where they were compared to who they are now. And I don't like to focus too much on the negative, but we definitely need to know what we've been through, what we've gone and seen, and how we've been able to really turn our own pain into our power or our purpose, which is the purpose of my podcast, right? That's why me and you are having this conversation. And what I think is really interesting listening to your story is that, I mean, this could be a whole nother topic, a whole nother podcast, but like the way that society tends to treat people, especially in the medical field, is like, just give them a pill. Just give them a pill. Let's just put a band-aid on top of it. Let's not really deal with it. Let's not unpack. Let's not figure out why. Let's just do a temporary fix in order to keep that cycle going. And I think what's beautiful for you is that you gave yourself the permission to be like, no, fuck that. I don't want to do that. I want to know what the fuck is wrong with me and why am I feeling this way? and you using different modalities, some that didn't work, some that did, but until you found the perfect recipe for you to start doing the work that we all need to do. But I think it's really important for people to realize, like, it's not just one size fits all. Like, what works for me may not work for the next person, and that's okay. But it's up to you to make the decision to be like, I'm going to figure out why. I'm not going to keep ignoring this. I'm not going to keep putting a temporary band aid over it. I'm not going to keep numbing myself out from my pain because I don't want to deal with it. I don't want to get to the point that, God forbid, I get a nervous breakdown and then I feel like now I have to. Let's start doing the work now.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
And now you've been able to really turn it into a whole business. I mean, y'all, she's out here helping people, teaching the things that she's learned to others. So I really want to talk more about the guided journaling and how that was a cornerstone of your own recovery. So, can you explain how journaling helped you address and heal from your emotional baggage? Why specifically guided journaling is such a powerful tool to help with mental health issues?
For me, guided journaling, I was able to focus. I didn't have focus when I was free writing, but when you have a specific question in your face and you have to answer that, you can't deviate from that question, it forces you to step up and have some accountability. And of course, I had to hold myself accountable for the parts that I played in a lot of things and the things I allowed or the things I did. So it makes you be accountable. It makes you be honest as well. Because, me and you can talk and I can lie all day if I wanted to. But when you're journaling, you have to. If you expect to have a positive result from your healing journey, you have to hold yourself accountable and be honest. Because your journal is for you. So if you're gonna lie to yourself, you're just gonna keep being stuck in the same cycle, and that's not the purpose of it. So for guided journaling, for me, I figured out all the different issues I had, and it was a lot. I had self-love issues, self-esteem issues, unpacking emotional baggage, breakups, money, you name it. That was my issue. So what I did was I made a separate journal for each issue that I had. So I learned in therapy that you don't write in the same journal about everything. So you can't be writing in one journal about gratitude and then you turn around and write about your low self-esteem and your no self-love and all that stuff. So I had a separate journal for each thing and I wrote according to the prompts. And that's how it helped me. I started feeling like literally, it felt like a literal weight was taken off my shoulders. So once I started feeling better, I swear I heard God say, okay, you're feeling better, but what about everybody else? And I'm like, wait, what? You have to go and help somebody else now.
Wow.
And that's how Shawnti Refuge journals came about. I took my guided journals that I used on myself. So everything you see on my website, all those guided journals, that was me. That was all my issues. And so I had them published. And, I started going to different events and promoting the guided journals. And people kept asking me, do I speak? Do you speak? Do you like, no, I don't speak. I could tell you about the journals from my table, but I ain't speaking. I ended up speaking at an event. A lady came, the event host said, okay, you ready to talk? I had no plans on. So she was like, no, it's time for you to get up and go talk. And I'm glad she did that to me. I had a panic attack. I did, a full blown. I had to go in the restroom and call my best friend. So, oh my God, they're making me speak. She said, Bishop, you don't get off my phone and go speak. That's what she said.
Yep.
She said, you know what you're talking about. This is your story. Go. Now get off my phone. And, okay. And I went and I talked. And from there, I got more speaking engagements because I tell my story not for me, it's for other people to know that one, they are not alone. You're not the only one going through this. And to look how it looks. This is how it looks when you're on the other side, when you're able to tell your story. It took a little minute to get here, especially when you're growing up to be taught not to talk. Don't tell, but no, open your throat chakra. We talking now.
Yes. 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 We are healing out loud. I actually put up a post on my Instagram yesterday, something along the lines of, I'm healing out loud now because I almost died in my silence. And for those who don't know me and who don't know my story, I'm a domestic violence survivor, and I almost lost my life being in an abusive relationship during the pandemic. And I've been on my journey to healing since 2021. That's why I started this podcast, to use my voice to tell my story and to, like Shawnti said, allow other people to not feel alone in their own trauma. Because we all got shit. I say that all the time. We all got things that we're going through, suffering through, and too many of us are suffering in silence. So we are the ones who are shifting the narrative and making it okay to talk about the ugly things that we grew up not talking about. Just like you, I grew up in a Puerto Rican household. We didn't talk about feelings. We didn't talk about trauma. That shit's for crazy people, right? Quote unquote. But, that's just perpetuating the cycle of abuse, the cycle of trauma, of staying quiet and not speaking out. So I appreciate you so much for the work that you're doing. I'm so glad that, like, you listened to God. He told you it's your time. I'm curious to know, from when you started your healing to making that decision to be a full-on business owner and put your stuff out there, how long of a time frame was that for you?
3 years. I started in 2021.
Oh, me too, girl.
Yeah.
Yes. I love that for you. So I want to know, so your mission involves creating a safe space for healing through guided journaling. So what advice would you give someone who's hesitant to start, who feels overwhelmed, all of the feelings that I'm sure you felt in the beginning of your healing journey? What are some starting points or some practical tips that you would recommend for someone in the beginning of their healing, especially when it comes to guided journaling?
You're not perfect. Start where you are. Stop putting it off. The longer you put it off, the worse it's going to be. Just start. Just start. There's no wrong or right way. Just start. Especially if you want to do journaling. If you have any questions, my DM, my email is always open. I answer questions all the time about it. So, I mean, you're not alone. You have now a new resource, me. You have no excuse, no excuses. You have to, be ready to put your big girl panties on and face some stuff you don't want to face. But it's necessary for you to heal. You have to face it. And don't think your healing journey is going to be pretty, because it's not. It is
Please say
ugly.
that again, because it is not rainbows and
No,
butterflies, okay?
no, it is not. It is ugly tears, ugly faces, smeared makeup, no lashes, no hair. Well, however, you have to go through that ugly part in order to come out on the other side, but it's possible. It is possible. Look at us. We're sitting here talking about it. So you can do it too. It's possible.
Absolutely. And I say it all the time too. Like, when it comes to healing from whatever it is that you've gone through, be compassionate and gentle with yourself, because it's not easy. Even though all of our traumas are different, all of our situations are different. Like Shawnti said, this journey, first of all, it's a lifelong journey. I will never ever say that I'm ever healed, because life is always going to life, and new levels, new devils, that
Mm,
happens, right?
yes,
But it's
indeed.
how you're able to pull out those tools that you have accumulated in your toolkit of healing, that when a situation does come to the forefront, you're like, okay, I'm not going to react the way that I used to, because I know how that is going to end. So let's try something different, right? That comes with the growth mindset, that comes with doing the work.
Yeah.
But just knowing that, like, just take it one fucking step at a time, you guys. Like, you don't have to go from 0 to 1,000 in 0.2 seconds.
No, that's not realistic.
Yeah, it's not. And I'm curious to know, for you, like, on your own journey, it's not rainbows and butterflies. We said it's very ugly. So, how do you deal with those dark moments that do come up for all of us from healing? How do you deal with the low moments, the moments that you don't feel your best self, the moments that you don't want to get out of bed? How do you deal with those moments in order to move through them so that you don't stay there?
I have learned in my healing journey to be self aware, doing body scans. How am I feeling? What's hurting? Because I've learned also that when something's going on up here, it manifests in your body, whether it be your knees, your ankles, your toes, your elbow, something's going to hurt. I learned how to do that, do a body scan. I just was in the bed for 3 straight days. Friday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. And my body needed to rest though. I wasn't upset or anything, but I recognized that, okay, your body needs to rest because you're going to have a lot of stuff coming up for the next 2 weeks. So that's what I did. You have to listen to your body. Don't ignore that knot in your shoulder. That's something. When I have my days, I do journaling, of course. I still work in my journals, the ones that I published. I work in my journals. I journal every day. I've gotten into yoga. I do yoga. I've started doing somatic yoga, and I love
Mm.
that.
Oh, what is that? I've never heard of that. What is that?
That is where I'm doing it for emotional release. Us as women, we hold a lot of stuff in our hips and around that area. So that type of yoga is like stretching, opening up your hips, and you do it long enough, you're gonna bust out crying because that's where we hold our emotions
Mm.
at. So I highly recommend that. I love it. I go outside, I go grounding, I go out in the backyard. If I know I'm not feeling good, I take my shoes off and get in the backyard and start praying, walk on the grass and praying. I do a lot of things that normally, if something upset me, I would eat, like binge eat, or I would drink, or I would get high. All the things that temporary. That's temporary. When those highs come down, you still have the problem. But when you do healing the correct way, journaling, scanning your body, getting rid of people who are no good for you, that's one thing that's definitely going to happen when you get in your healing journey because things start to look different. Things
Yes.
look different. People look different when you start healing.
You can start seeing the very unhealed versions of people when you start working on yourself.
Yes,
Let me tell you something. This healing journey, it can get very lonely. It can get extremely lonely, but I'm so glad you brought that up because I think it's so important for you to detox those people, those situations, those workplaces, those relationships, that man that's stressing you the fuck out, ladies. Okay. You already know what I'm talking about. Sometimes it's the person that you're laying next to every single fucking night. But
yeah,
that's another conversation for another day. But like you said, you have to be real with yourself. You have to take that accountability. That's something that I preach about so much. Like when I looked in the mirror and I realized that I was a part of the suffering that was happening in my life. Not all of it. I don't take responsibility for the shit that people did to me, but I do take responsibility for what I allowed and what I felt was okay. Once you sit in your shit, once you really look in the mirror and be like, I have the power to change my life, that's when it'll happen.
yes, indeed. Amen.
Amen. Yes. So, speaking on that, detoxing from people and community, in your opinion, how important is community support in the healing process? And how does your business encourage a sense of community among its users?
Community is very important. It's important because number one, you don't want to go through this shit by yourself. You will never get to where you need to be if you're trying to do it by yourself. You need to be around other people, even though, all our traumas are different, but we're coming together in a space where we can talk and learn from each other and heal. I do support groups every Wednesday through Sharewell. And I always encourage my viewers to come sit in on a session. You don't have to talk, just watch and see. And I've had so many people, my classes are full every week now because when I first started doing it, people were like, but then the company asked me to speak about my story. And now my stuff is full every week. And
Yes.
it's great. I love it. We laugh, we cry, we crack jokes, and we heal. Essentially, that's what we're doing. And you can always tell the people who were scared in the beginning, like, I don't know what this, because I use guided journaling in my support groups. Yes, you're going to be right. And, I have 100% satisfaction. At the end of every session, they're asked to review me and what we talked about. And so far,
Yes.
It's been
Amen.
good because I pull things. I teach people that things come out of you that you didn't even know was there just by answering a question. And I tell people, come in this community. I will give you a free month just so you could see how it is. You have no excuse. And people always want to put a price on things. Yes, we serve, therefore we deserve. I get it. But that is not my priority. My priority is to help. The money gonna come. So if somebody needs help and they need my help and they're willing to receive my help and willing to do the work, we can't fix you. You have to fix yourself. but we're here to guide you and support you in that process because it is very lonesome. It is when you're doing it by yourself. And it's so foreign and lonesome that you're going to quit. And we don't want you to quit. We want you to keep going, keep striving, keep going. And that's where the support and the community comes in at.
Absolutely. I mean, I just think back to my own journey of healing from just that relationship and other things that I've gone through. I knew I couldn't heal from that on my own. So I went to therapy. I went to group therapy. I hired life coaches. I talked about this shit a lot. And that's how I've been able to really turn it around and be the woman that I am today because of the people, the support that I didn't even know I had in my life until I was put in a situation that was really life or death. And I really had to lean on that support system. The resources are out there for you guys. And I'm definitely going to link Shawnti's information in the show notes. Y'all can slide in her DM, visit her website, buy her journals. Okay. The work is out there for you. But like Shawnti said, we can give you everything, but you have to get to the point that you're sick and tired of living your life the way that you are, and you are now ready to make a change. No one can do that for you but yourself. One more thing I want to ask you is about you co-authored a book called Voices of Wellness, a mental health anthology. Yes, like she said in the beginning, she's an author, y'all, okay? Which aims to shatter the silence around mental health. So what do you hope readers will take away from reading this book?
Their eyes are going to be open, their minds are going to be open because that book is a story from different perspectives. So you have me talking about when I had my mental breakdown, you have a doctor perspective on mental health, you have a parent of her child had a nervous breakdown. So you're getting it from different ways, but it's all common mental health because there's a lot of people that hadn't gone through that or don't know what it is. You know, you've heard of somebody having a mental breakdown, never seen it. You're going to know what it is when you read the book. So I was
Mm-hmm.
very happy to co-author in that book.
That's amazing. I love that. We're definitely going to link it in the show notes for you guys to check it out. So, what are your future goals? What's on the horizon for Shawnti's journals? And are there any new projects that you're working on that you want to share with the audience today?
Absolutely. I wrote my book. It's called Quiet as Kept. So that gives you the full from childhood up until 2018. It lets the reader know what exactly I was doing and what was done that led me to, have the nervous breakdown and how I overcame it and how the reader can too. So and I'm working on Christmas already. So I have a box. It's going to be called the Quiet as Kept box. So you're going to get the book, a journal, and some goodies in there to help you through your healing journey. I am launching my coaching. I did a survey. So my audience said they wanted self-paced courses. So I'm working on that now. I'm on my third one and they're going to be released in September, just in time for that holiday season. And more speaking engagements, more of me out there because, until all 8 billion people hear what I have to say, I got work to do.
Yes, yes, yes. More healing out loud. I love that so much. I'm so grateful that me and you connected. Please share how people can order your journals, your books, how they can follow you, and any last piece of advice that you want to leave the people with.
Yes. First of all, the last piece of advice to whoever can see or hear me or and whatever, you are worthy. You are deserving to have a great life. You were not put here on earth to suffer. And if you have people around you that are making you feel like you are suffering and you are not living up to your potential, it's time for you to start healing to get rid of them. All you have to do is start your healing process, they'll fall off because those people don't like the healed you. They like the you that they can manipulate. And we wouldn't put on earth for that. So you are worthy and you are deserving. Go get healed. Start with us. You can find me, on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok at Shawnti Refuge Journals. My handle is the same on all of the platforms, so I'm not hard to find. You can get my guided journals and my books at ShantiRefuge.com.
I love that. We're going to link everything in the show notes. Again, Shawnti, thank you so much for being here. I can just see the light radiating out of you. I'm just so proud, for what you've gone through compared to who you are today. You are giving others hope to know that you can thrive despite the shit that you've gone through. So thank you so much for the work you're doing. And I'm so excited to see what's to come.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate you.